So hi everyone, I'm Izzy and I'm a physicist. Our entire world is made up of atoms. They're everywhere. Everything you see is made of atoms. There are over 100 different types of atoms in the world, and they're described by this periodic table of the elements. Do you recognize it? Let's take a closer look. So, the periodic table of the elements lists all the atoms that exist in the universe. Do you know any atoms? Maybe you recognize some familiar ones, like gold or silver, maybe hydrogen or carbon, oxygen. Any others that you recognize? So what's interesting about this table is that it's organized by weight. So from the lightest atom up here, hydrogen, this number here tells you the weight. Its weight is 1. It goes from helium with a weight of 2, lithium 3, all the way down to the heaviest atom at the bottom, lawrencium, which is 103. So all of these atoms here are organized by weight. What's also interesting is that atoms are grouped together in the column. So in this first column here, we have things like lithium, sodium, potassium. These are extremely reactive and explosive, so they react very, very strongly with other atoms. But on the other side of the periodic table over here, we have things like neon, argon, krypton. These are very sleepy atoms. They don't do anything. They just exist, float around, don't react with anything at all. And in the middle here, we have some very interesting atoms, which are the transition metals. Things like gold, mercury, silver. These are really more like metals in this area here. These ones on the left-hand side are also metal, and then on this side here, these exist around us as gases. So we can take groups of atoms and make recipes out of them. And this gives us everything that we see around us. So for example, me and you, this tree, most of life is made up of only different types of recipes of only 4, maybe a few more types of atoms, but we are mostly made up of hydrogen, carbon, nitrogen, and oxygen. These 4 atoms are absolutely fundamental to life, and we can combine them in different ways and make different things. Another recipe you may have heard of is water, H2O. So that's 2 hydrogens and 1 oxygen. Also, the air that we breathe, it's mostly nitrogen and oxygen. Can you think of any other recipes out there that you know? Let's think about how these atoms can inspire us to dance. Maybe you want to choose an atom, do some research about it, and then incorporate it into your dance in a minute. So maybe you want to choose something like lithium that's explosive and reactive, or maybe you want to choose something like gold that's shiny and very, very heavy. Think about an atom, choose something, research it, and see how it inspires you to dance in the next section.
Hi everyone, my name is Yanael, I'm a dance teacher, and in this video I'm taking over from Akim. So as you've just heard it in the first part of this video, we've found out that atoms are classified in this big table, the periodic table, according to their weight and their properties. And in the second part of this video, right now, we are going to see how we can put their weight and their properties into movement, into some dancing. So, let's get started. Let's begin by warming up. And I would like you to imagine that your body for the beginning of this warm-up is covered in lithium. Lithium is a really nice silvery, shiny metal. So if you just brush your arms lightly, imagining that they're shiny, in all surfaces are covered in lithium. Let's brush those legs and maybe even the lower legs, covering them in the beautiful shiny metal. Do you think you can brush your back? And it's all covered, and then chest as well, and head and maybe even brushing your feet, bending your knees as much as you need to cover these feet in the shiny metal. Lithium is quite light, so I would like you to show these metallic, shiny surfaces around the space, but without forcing it too much. Just some light, gentle reaches. Down low, up high, using your legs and using your arms. One more big brush. And here we are. Now let's move down a little to a slightly heavier element, calcium. Calcium is found in our bones and joints, and I would like you to see how many different shapes you can make with these bones. You can bend the joints, you can stretch them out, finding different angles, and again those straight lines, just a little bit stronger this time. One more shape, and moving on to an even heavier element. Here we are, covered in lead, a really heavy metal. Here, if you want to take a step, it's going to take a lot of strength to move that foot. Try one more, keeping your foot nice and heavy, and trying with your arms as well. How heavy can you keep them as you move them around, one after the other? And relax, shake out. Whew, that was heavy. Now our lithium, let's go back to this one. Did you know that it is used in batteries, in lots of batteries? And when your battery is low, I'm going to ask you to go all the way down into a crouch. We're going to charge the battery, we're going to place the heels on the floor, uncurl the whole body, lift the arms up, and your battery is going to be fully charged. Let's do that one once again. Bringing your hands onto the floor, coming all the way down to your crouch, and pressing your heels down, rolling all the way up, arms coming all the way up, and you're fully charged. That's it for your warm-up. Well done. Right, I hope you're feeling a little bit warmer now. We are going to continue by exploring more of these atoms and their properties. So in the warm-up just now, I was talking about the weight of these elements. We had a very light weight, lithium movement. We had a slightly heavier calcium movement, and then we had the really heavy lead movement. Now these atoms don't just differ in weight, they also have very different properties, like say iron, which is found in magnets. Do you think that with two body parts, let's say my knee and my hand, you could show magnets coming together and magnets coming away from each other? Here we go, so starting with one hand and one knee, bringing them together like magnets, and out they go, away from one another. Great, try that with the other hand and the other knee. So hand coming across, bringing it in like magnets, and out it goes, away from one another. Now, do you think you could try that with other body parts? It could be an elbow and a hip. Let's see if you can bring them together, and away from each other. And then other side, elbow to hip, in they go, and out. Great. I'm gonna try ankle to shoulder. Pick your body parts, see if they can come together like magnets. Ready, go. And away. Nice, and try another body part. I'm gonna go this time wrist to ankle. Pick your body parts and bring them together. And away they go. Nicely done. If you are in a big space today, you might be able to travel across your space. Imagining that there's a big magnet over onto one side. Start on the other end of the room and see if that magnet can take you and pull you all the way. If you are working in a smaller space, just keep going with your different body parts coming together and away from one another. I'll give you 1 minute to do that. You might want to hit pause to continue exploring these magnetic movements. Don't forget to use our playlist to dance to if you want to keep going with these movement explorations. When you're ready, just press play again. Now, I hope you enjoyed exploring the magnetic movements that we can find in this element in exploring iron. Another one that I would like us to explore in movement is mercury. And what really fascinates me about that one is that it's a metal, almost as heavy as the lead that we were using in the warm-up, but at room temperature, it's liquid. So I wonder if you can get into a really grounded, heavy position, but from here, instead of taking steps like we did in the warm-up, how could you push the space around you, almost moving like really, really thick water or much thicker liquid, your mercury movement. You might need to think that the air around you is pushing you, or that you have to push it with all of your body parts, and you stay really heavy and really grounded. One more push and relax, shake it out. Now, metals, non-metals, there are lots of these atoms in the table. Here's one more, it's called yttrium, and yttrium is used in laser lights. So I thought we might try and create some really sharp laser lines, mainly with our arms, but also, why not, with our legs. Have a try, see if you can create those really straight, really sharp, really pointy lines with your arms, legs. Do you think even your head could shoot a really straight laser beam right above you? Standing nice and tall, let's go for 4 really straight, really sharp laser beams. Here you go, any body part. 1, 2, 3, 4. Nicely done. Let's try one more time. 4 body parts. They can go in different directions. Do you think you could also shoot a laser beam back behind you? 4 times. Ready? Your own body parts, your own directions. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Nicely done. Now I'm going to teach you a really short dance sequence which is based on these laser beams, these really sharp movements. Use it as a starting point. It might give you ideas for your own dance, which you might have time to create afterwards. Now, my beginning looks like this, because I'm trying to create 3 laser beams, one with my leg, one with the same side arm, and even one with the opposite arm. So if you are mirroring me, you will be having your right leg, your right arm, and your left arm pointed out. We're going to begin with the arm movements. They're going to go straight across, 1 laser beam, 2 laser beams. All right, so from the starting position where you're already showing those really straight lines, we're going to go, for you it's going to be your left arm first. Left arm, right arm. From here, I'm going to carry on. We're going to take that arm up above our heads. So it's going to pass from here, overhead, and we're going to lunge. Big lunge laser beam like this. So you take a big step, if you have room, across this way. One more time from the top. 1, 2, 3 laser beams, and we go across. 1, 2, overhead, 3, big step, 4. From here, we're just gonna turn around, bring our legs together, and then shoot both arms towards our starting point where we were just before. Let me show that move once again. From the lunge, the long laser beam lunge, we turn around towards the back and then shoot both arms to that direction where we came from. Few more moves, but I would say let's do that from the top first and then we'll add on. So here you are, 1, 2, 3 laser beams. And here you go, left arm across, right arm, overhead and laser beam lunge. Turn around, both arms. Here you're just going to take a step. For you, you're going to step with your right foot, if you're mirroring me, and then shoot your laser beam leg just in front of you. So you go from here, step, laser beam leg, and then we're going to jump and bring both of these laser beams up towards the ceiling. We're nearly at the end. Let's just do a little recap of this one. 3 laser beams ready to go. Left arm first. Left. Right arm overhead. Up. And big lunge. Turn around. 2 laser beams. Shoot. And step. Laser leg. Bring the feet together. Jump. Last thing, you get to make your own laser shape on the floor. Mine looks like this. I've got my arm up and I'm creating this sort of a diamond with my legs. You might want to make a different kind of shape, but I suggest, because we've just done a jump, bringing it right down to the floor. So we change our level here from the jump up. We're gonna go right down. This can be your own shape. If you do want to press pause, figure out where you are going to land, please go ahead, and when you press play, we'll start again from the beginning. Let's go for it. Arms and legs super straight, showing your laser beams right from the start. Ready, and left arm, right arm, overhead, big lunge, turn around, laser beam arms, step and laser legs, step together for your jump, going down and finding your final laser beam shape. Really well done. Now that was my laser sequence, and what I would like you to do now is make your own dance. Make sure that you do something that tells us a little bit about your element. For example, my element was atrium, and that's why I chose to create those really straight laser beam lines. But with your element, you might want to make a totally different shape. Just make sure that it makes sense with the kind of element that you are working with. Please press pause, take a minute, take the time you need to do this, and of course you're welcome to use our playlist if you need music ideas to accompany your dance. When you're ready, press play again, and we will just finish with a few stretches, a little bit of a cool down together. Let's finish with some stretches. And I would like you to imagine that your head is like a helium balloon, filled with helium and floating nice and lightly above the body. Now let's see if your arms can also float up. And just take a few stretches from one side to the other. Maybe one arm is floating up a little higher, and then the other one takes over. Let's take one arm up, keep it there, keep it floating, and just bring the other hand down towards your knee, or maybe all the way down to the floor. Finding a nice twisted stretch here. And then let that top hand bring you all the way back up. Both hands floating, once again keeping your head and arms nice and light. Let's swap over, bringing the other hand down towards your knee or all the way down to the floor. Keeping that helium hand there floating lightly. And let that hand pull you all the way back up. Do you think you can float one leg up, one knee? Up in front of you, let's grab hold of that knee, give it a little bit of a squeeze, and then bring that foot back behind you. We're just going to stretch our thighs here, so maybe holding onto your foot with both hands, or if you do have a chair or something for support, just holding onto that to find your balance. And letting go of that leg, let's do the other side. So first of all, floating that knee up. Remember, your head is still a helium balloon. It's still floating nice and high. And then releasing that leg and grabbing hold of your foot. Once again, holding on to a chair if you need it, or just finding your balance on one foot. And gently releasing that leg. Shaking out your hands, shaking out your legs, shaking out your wrists, taking a deep breath, and breathing out. Really well done. I hope you enjoyed this video, and in the next one you will be back with Akeem to explore more about these atoms and ways that we can dance with them. See you soon.
So I hope you enjoyed that session. Why don't you think up another element, maybe do some research into another type of atom and come up with with a new dance using the structuring techniques that you learned in that dance video. Why not something like hydrogen? It's in the sun, it's used as rocket fuel, it's very, very light, it's in water, it's in this tree, it's everywhere. So there's lots of inspiration you can take from a single atom and use your dance techniques that you've learned. I hope you enjoyed yourself.